Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for a crypto highlight video. And remember, if you're interested in any of the services I provide, please check out the links in the description below for both the Patreon and Discord. And if you would like for me to do a exclusive video just for you, make sure to be in the Discord and in the stock and highlight room. Give me the name and ticker to whatever asset you would like for me to make a highlight video about, and I'll do it just for you. All right, so this highlight video is going to be about VRA USD. Not really much information here off of the monthly chart. I checked other exchanges just to make sure this isn't like a new listing, but this seems to be around the age of this certain coin. But you know, since we don't have that much information on the monthly, let's go down to the weekly, see if there's any more we can see there. Not really that much. I mean, we do have a very large fair value gap right above our head here, but it's not really that interesting because there's just not that much information here. So let's go down to the daily, see maybe we can get a better view of what's happening. So, all right, so from the daily, we clearly have a grind down. Now, this grind down is somewhat interesting as it does show some bullish implications, but we're not at that point yet where I can see it actually fully playing out, right? So I think we have some time here. Actually, what I'm potentially seeing here is a larger descending channel, but it might be too soon to actually label it as such. Let's actually draw that out right here. So from the all-time high, which is about 0.007, to this swing high here right before the most recent drop we've had. We'll connect the top there, and then let's connect this bottom pivot right here. Let's see if I can actually clean this up a little bit, make it a little bit easier to understand. Yeah, so this is kind of what I'm seeing. So right now what we're looking at is VRA had a pretty much it opened up extremely high and was able to stab above that level, grabbing the liquidity that pulled above this level here, and pretty much broke down. So the liquidity that was sitting up here is most likely buy stop. So pretty much people who try to play the breakout of this wick getting taken out, they just got locked, they just got trapped, and then they just descended from there. And right now we're trading what looks like on the top side of this descending channel. We've touched the median line multiple times, consolidated on it, and then had a nice pop up, then coming up towards the high side here. And now potentially we're going to actually try and challenge this level again. Now, outside of that, there's not much information except for what we immediately see to our left. So we have this fair value gap right here that catches my eye. So I can see this being the short-term level of where VRA can get to. Let's change that to red. So watch for this to be the level where VRA potentially gets to, and then potentially starts to pull back from. So it has a lot of confluence right here. So you have the fair value gap here, and then the top side of this descending channel potentially. Again, it's still fairly soon to call this a channel, but what we can call this is this does have a descending structure to it. There is a trend line here from this high pivot to this high pivot, and potentially we do have a lower trend line here, but price hasn't gotten down to these levels yet. The median line to me is confirmed, as well as we did have price respected here via the wicks, came back into a held support for a period of time, and then was able to trade off of it. So at least the top part of this descending channel has been confirmed. Now we're going to see, are we actually going to break lower and go down towards the bottom side of this descending channel, or are we going to get enough fuel from this descent, which I have to tell you, I do have a bit of a bullish bias on this, just have how it's shaped. I think if it can take out this swing high here, I think you're going to very quickly see it break up to try and fill out as much of this imbalance as possible, potentially try and make new all-time highs. Again, I think if that were to happen, we would have to see the overall crypto market in a much more bullish state. But just looking at VRA in a vacuum, I do think it can, if it can take out that this most previous swing high here, it can get to this fair value gap right here, and oh, actually let me draw that a little bit better, right there. There we go, right there. So it could get right there, and potentially this one right here. This is a very small one right here, and then we have a larger one just under this one as well. But the larger one here, some of it has gotten filled already. So here we go. So I could see it get towards these levels up here. So that's anywhere from, on the low side, 0.0055, and all the way to the top side, 0.0066. Okay, so if we can have this break essentially from this descending channel and taking out this swing high here, watch for a move up towards these levels. Now, if we do break down, because you have to have the bias that it's potentially going to get towards this fair value gap right here, break up and then find resistance at this level and then continue the trend down, coming back towards this median trend line of the descending channel. The more we start playing on this trend line, the more likely it is we're going to come back down to try and test the low side here. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But right now, I have to have a bias to the upside. However, that doesn't mean it's going to happen right now. We've had a very nice, beautiful bull candle here from what I would consider this is bullish consolidation. You have this descending wedge structure here. Okay, broke bullish, and now you have what looks like potentially the beginning of bullish consolidation, so like a bull flag of some sort. But be careful, from what I can see, at least on the Bitfinex chart, there's not that much volume, so things can get a little wacky. I mean, you're not getting the most clean candles because there's just not as much volume going into this asset right now. But overall, I do like it. But again, it has some work to do if we're going to go into a bullish cycle for VRA. It's a very, very young coin, and I don't know much else past this. For resistance levels and support levels, I mean, we have one right here that we can map out on the chart here. So we have this low consolidation right here. So we can actually use the lows as a resistance zone right here. I'm going to keep these trend lines black just because we're not looking at the weekly or monthly. There's just not enough information. So we have support right here. We can actually get rid of this bottom one here and just use this one here. Because for me, supports and resistance and trend lines in general, they're zones, right? So the lines themselves aren't pinpoint accurate. It's just the general zone, and it's to help you understand what you're looking at, right? So it could be from the body here, it could be from this wick here, it could be all the way down to this low wick here, or just this little swing low right here. I'd rather just have it right here on the low side of this consolidation because you're grabbing all this information, all right? And that happens to coincide with the fair value gap right here, okay? So watch for this level to be pretty significant resistance, but we are looking like we're going to try and attempt to get towards that level and find the fuel to break through. Because if you do break through, so if we do break through this descending channel and we do start trading into this fair value gap, watch for a pullback onto this level and even onto the descending channel and then start trading on top of it. As long as that can hold and you start making a new higher low from this low here, you are then potentially going to get enough fuel to make a new higher high from this potential high, lower high, and then start challenging this swing high, okay? Because the whole idea is you want to try and get into something when a change of character is beginning to happen. The sooner you can pinpoint and discern when a change of character is happening in price, the better your entry is going to be. So we're not sure if this is what's happening yet, but we are seeing early signs that we're going to have at least an attempt to try and get towards the high side of this descending channel, which could then lead to something like this. All right. And if we do end up having a move like this, where can we get to? Well, let's use the channel as a measured move, right? So for now, we're only going to use the top side because we can't use the full one-to-one extension from the top to the low of the channel because we don't have this part confirmed down here, but we do have this structure confirmed here. So these highs and then these lows. So going from the top to the bottom, hopefully I can draw. Let's actually draw that a little bit better. Hold on one second. Right here, I'll do it. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so from the top trend line of the descending channel to the median trend line of the descending channel, we go from where we potentially could break out. So let's say we break out right where I drew, right? So right around here. Look where that measured move gets you. right to these fair value gaps. I'm telling you, it's super incredible when you start seeing the confluence kind of all mesh together. And I promise you, I did not look at this chart prior to the video. I try to make it a point to come into these charts, unless it's an asset I'm in or very aware of, to try and look at these charts as, you know, as naked as possible, so I can give you my most honest you know, opinions as I, you know, kind of break down the chart. And I'm not surprised that, even though, you know, that these fair value gaps are connecting to the measured move from the top line to the median line. It it tends to work that way. Charts are kind of magical that way. So if we do get that break from the descending channel, watch for this level. Essentially, I would say on the conservative side, right about 0.0055, like I said before, and then to this very thin fair value gap at 0.006, right? So watch for this level to be a pretty attractive target, and I would watch out for this whole zone right here to become a pretty big area of resistance, in the sense that as you get there, right? So let's say price does get there, what will the overall structure look like, right? So you have to ask yourself that. We don't have a lot of information here, but we can kind of give our most educated guess from our experience looking at all these other charts. If we were to break up, right, you know, we go through the flows up and down, we finally meet our one-to-one measured move from the top line to the median line going up to here. Well, what happens? Well, we're essentially, you know, we've broken structure here, so we've made a new higher high, a couple of new higher highs probably from this swing high, from this swing high, but we're still under the all-time high. Well, what's likely going to happen is you'll break down, okay? Now the breakdown is not overly bearish yet if you can hold the ultimate higher low, right? So we have this higher low, and then you potentially will have another higher low or two as you go up. Even if you were to break under this higher low, that's okay, because you're grabbing liquidity from the people who were able to get into this wave up and didn't take profit. So you're getting liquidity under this level. If you can ultimately hold this, okay, ultimately hold this, even a spike down like that, and then break up, that's still bullish, because the ultimate swing low is this entire zone here, okay, really down here. But this entire zone here, because this is where you broke from the descending channel. This is the original consolidation, and this is where you originally changed character, okay? Where you originally changed character from the previous trend is very important to hold overall, to really validate and confirm the new change of character over a longer period of time. So I actually see the potential of VRA making new highs, but again, it's going to take time. It's also going to take a more bullish crypto market overall, and we're also going to, you know, we're also going to have to break this descending channel bullish, and we're going to have to hold the levels like I've mentioned here. And yeah, you know, so it's again, I'm bullish on it, but we have there's a lot of work to be done here, okay? So don't think it's just going to happen overnight, and you are still in the descending channel. So just to bring you back down to earth, you can get towards the high side of this descending channel and then sell right on off, okay? So just keep that in mind. This is very, very likely where you come to this level here and break down. I don't have enough information here to tell you that the probabilities are extremely high that we break here. In my opinion, it's more likely that we fail here, and then best case scenario, we have another bullish consolidation, mainly because there's this in my opinion is not enough consolidation to gather enough fuel to break this level here, okay? It may be enough, but in my eyes right now, I don't see it. I think that we're probably going to have to break lower and really bring in some pain, and then, you know, break towards the high side and break through. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But I do think once we do break this channel, these levels up here are what you want to look for to either take profit, you know, again, take some profit, look to potentially open up a short, but keep in mind, ultimately, it breaking to these levels is bullish, and the retracement, if there is going to be a retracement, has to be with a bullish bias. And these all-time highs are ultimately going to be targeted one way or the other. Okay? All right, everyone, that's it for VRA. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you like the content, give me a quick like, give me a subscribe, and make sure to join the Discord. The link is in the description below. It's a free Discord, and I think there's a ton of good information, really good traders, really good guys and gals in there. So make sure to hop on in. And it's also the best place to get in contact with me if you have any questions or you want me to do a highlight video for you, etc. All right, everyone, remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. I love you guys. Take care. Bye.